Hey, what's going on guys? Arekkz here, welcome back to another video for Borderlands 3. And in this one, I want to take a moment to take a look at the new class mods in the new Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC. If you guys caught the video we uploaded the other day, then you'll of course know we took a look at some new legendary weapons, but there are also some new class mods. Now I will say from kind of initial time testing and the kind of initial sort of descriptions of the class mods, they don't sound as drastically kind of meta-defining as say the previous ones. If you guys cast your mind back to say the Moxie DLC, a couple of the class mods were very good, especially for Flack as, you know, one of the kind of prime examples. These ones don't initially kind of jump out as being quite so drastically good. However, keep in mind the characters we were playing on were level 35, they weren't endgame characters, so you know, with some decent testing, potentially they could still provide greater value, but either way, we're going to take a look at them anyway. So with that being said, let's turn our attention to Flack first. This is clearly geared more towards those that want to play Beastmaster because of course it revolves around the dominated ability. Basically with this one, whenever Flack's pet would kill an enemy, there's a 25% chance that it instead confuses the enemy for 20 seconds. And then once you dominate the enemy is then set to 25% health, and once the duration ends, the enemy is killed. So obviously if you have gone down the Beastmaster tree, honestly I haven't done it for quite a while, but I did like have a Beastmaster build at the very beginning of the game, and I did quite enjoy it. You know, there is the perk where you can go over and you can melee enemies and you can then turn them on your side. So obviously if you would use this and you then kind of send your pet out to potentially kill the enemy and instead confusing them, it basically gives you a free means to dominate the enemy, bring it on your side and use it for a bit of time without then having to worry about going to kill it when the, you know, domination runs out. So interesting perk, again, you know, not necessarily that drastic, but if they kind of paired this with say some, you know, significant pet buffs and maybe there was some sort of decent value for it, potentially. But for the time being, that is the Flack class mod. Keep in mind, gameplay wise, I didn't really get a chance to kind of test it out too much in this setup. So for the time being, we're just gonna be looking at these, and some of the gameplay you see will just be general Guns, Love and Tentacle stuff in the background. Moving on from there to Zane, this one is the delayed lucky conductor. For this one, Zane gains up to 25% bonus shock damage based on his remaining action skill duration. The more duration remaining, the greater the bonus, and this effect stacks. So obviously if you were kind of, you know, leaning heavily into shock element and you want to kind of, you know, build your character around that, then there's potentially some value in there. But again, kind of factoring in some of the alternatives to Zane, some of the ones that we have kind of typically defaulted towards, I didn't necessarily see this as being something you're initially going to replace straight away. Next up, moving on from there, we have the class mod for Mose. For this one, Mose gains up to 12% lifesteal. The longer she holds down the fire button, the greater the lifesteal. So, you know, if you pair this with one of those weapons where you have a lot of bullet potential, you have a lot of kind of, you know, a massive magazine, or say one of those weapons that kind of regenerates on kill, then you do have the potential to, you know, get some decent stuff out of this. I do like, you know, of all the class mods we've seen, the prospect of potentially building a lifesteal build around this is really cool. You know, in games like this where you have the ability to kind of do lifesteal stuff, I like kind of messing around with that. Quite whether it would be, you know, hugely valuable compared to some of your other options, again, remains to be seen. Mose also has a pretty strong class mod, so replacing that is going to take some persuading. But if you were to pair this with, you know, some bullet regeneration, the ability to fire for extended periods of time, and then having this as lifesteal, I'm definitely keen to try this out. I'm definitely keen to try and get this when the DLC launches and try and sort of, you know, build like a lifesteal build around this and see just how viable it could be. Interesting, definitely has potential, but again, not immediately drastically apparent to begin with. And then finally, turn our attention to Amara. Her class mod is called Stone. Whenever Amara is damaged, she gains plus 10% chance to gain a stack of rush. For every stack of rush Amara gains, plus 3% damage reduction. Max rush stacks plus 5. So again, I guess sort of, you know, from a survivability standpoint, if you want to kind of use this to reduce your damage incoming, this could potentially be interesting. But again, it doesn't necessarily scream like, you must equip me right now, when you compare it with some of Amara's alternatives. Either way, that was a very quick look at the class mods that come in the new Guns, Love and Tentacles DLC. So for those of you guys that have any questions, by all means let me know in the comments down below. Let me know if you guys have got any ideas for these. You know, maybe there are some slightly less conventional builds that you're just running and you think, you know what, that might actually work quite well. By all means let me know in the comments down below. But for the time being, that's it. Keep it locked for plenty more. I really hope you guys enjoyed that video. Remember to hit that subscribe button and also click on the little bell icon to turn on notifications so you don't miss my next upload. Also, don't forget, you can check out TwoSixNine and Paradise Central streaming over on Twitch 6 days a week. You can find a link to the multi-stream in the description box down below. Be sure to drop by and get involved. Thanks again for watching. Take it easy. Catch you next time. Peace out.